women's team in Geelong, and we played in Melbourne against all the VFL sides, VFLW, that's what they were called. So we're in that pool, and we're the only women's team. So yeah, the pioneer of women's football. The AFLW wasn't big then. It was just let's play football and let's play for a bit of fun. So, and we had the older women that wanted to play for different reasons because they couldn't play women's footy when they were little or they were younger, coming through the ranks. And then we had the girls that were in junior football with your Newtowns and Model Warriors, and then you had them come here as well. So there's a bit of a mix. So you had the younger and the older, and we had to find that balance of trying to say to the girls, we're here to try and develop you, but then the other pool we're here to have some fun. So that was a challenge. That was probably our biggest challenge, that we had a pool that were up and about, wanting to develop their skills and wanting to go further, and then we had a group that just wanted to be here for the camaraderie and to play football, to have a kick around. Going through the photos the other week of the grand final, our first grand final against Seaford, we weren't expected to win, and we ended up rolling them in the last quarter, and it was the best experience I've been involved in sport in general to this day. So to be a part of that and a part of the group was so special, and the club, the support that the club gave women's footy was something I've never experienced, and I probably will never experience being involved in other clubs. Since I've left the club, this club is the pioneer of women's footy, and if it wasn't for this club, then the Cats wouldn't have been established, the VFL wouldn't be established, and we wouldn't have 13 teams in Geelong with women's football. Very proud, but also a bit of a tough pill to swallow, I think. It was mixed feelings, because it was like we're giving them the licence, but they didn't do any work behind it, and North Geelong did. So it was like we're handing over already an established team and then not getting rewarded for it, because we had probably 75% of those girls went to the VFL at Geelong, which left the leftovers, and then we had to form it again, and we had to pick it back up. And that was probably the hardest work that we had to do, is to try and make sure that we had a team while the VFL Cats took that, half those girls. But we had a pretty good relationship with VFL and the coach at the time, so it was like, well, let us know what's going on, because some of those players would drop back into the North Geelong team if they didn't make VFL. So there was a strong connection there, but I think that was a proud moment, but also it was a tough moment, because you're losing the girls as well from the club, and it was becoming Geelong Football Club instead of North. Look, a lot of them went on to play Rochelle Cranston, so Rocky, you got Maddie Boyd, Michelle Federley, who else do we have? Phoebe Monaghan. So they all played, and they ended up with AFLW team. So Boydie ended up at the Cats, as well as over in Sydney. Phoebe Monaghan played in a Brisbane Premiership. And Rocky played at the Demons. So I think having those, Lily Mithen's she was at Melbourne and she's gone to the Gold Coast. So to have all those girls here playing and seeing where they are now, I think that's something to be proud of as a club, that they were here. This is where we actually grew them, and then they've gone off and done wonderful things. So it's a credit to them, and there's a few more other players that are, went on to play better football and to play higher standard, which has all started here.
Well, we come over as a team, so there was a group of us that started, and we were trying to just start the junior section up. Kelly was looking after the senior side of it, and it was just friends of friends, and it just become a family bond. But it's certainly enriched the club 100%, bringing the women over and the kids. It's a really family environment here. Well, that's how I see it. So
yeah, everybody was welcoming. All the boys and everybody. It was just welcome. I mean, I was here for years before that anyway, but like when all the netballers and that come over, it was just one big happy family. Kelly's my daughter, and she's played from day dot, same as Donna did. And a lot of those juniors that Kelly and Donna coached are playing now still, like 20 years later in the seniors. So it's that just speaks for itself, I think.
And yeah, we just sort of got it together. We went through undefeated that year, first year not knowing how we'd go, or knowing that we'd all played netball before but not like together as one.
Gelled as a team.
Yeah, went through undefeated and lost the first game and had to play to go through again and end up winning it. So we were 10
Not
goals.
only did we win it though, we won it in double overtime.
We did too. We were 10 goals up and
that's probably one of my favourite netball games I've ever played in my life.
Come down to a draw, and then we had to go 5 minutes and it was still a draw. Then it was first 2 goals.
Yeah, it gets up by 2.
Yeah, we won it against Corio.
I've got lots of thoughts about that game. It was worth it. It was a hard fought out game. It was against Corio, our rivals too, so that made it even sweeter to beat them. And not only that, the girls in that team we knew as well, because we've all been around the netball circuit before.
And I actually played with them at Bell Park.
Yeah,
we
so
were
it was
like
super
the A grade
special.
there. Yeah.
I remember going down in, I don't know if it was in the extra time or during the normal game, and I went down with cramps. Do you remember I got those cramps?
You did.
And
I think
remember,
it was
get up, keep
5
going.
minutes, I think.
Yeah,
in
and
the first lot.
yeah, it's amazing what your body will do to push on when you're in a team environment and you're surrounded around your girls. Yeah, and we pushed on and we won it.
Yeah, so in under 17s I was captain. We also made the grand final, and back in then days you couldn't play juniors and seniors, you had to pick. So I picked 17s because I was captain and I thought I can't leave the girls, I've got forever to play A grade. Unfortunately under 17s lost. A grade was so good, I was on the bench and I was a part of it, but I actually didn't take the court that day. So yeah, as much as I was there and they gave me a medal and all the rest of it, the next year the ruling changed that you could play seniors and juniors, and yeah, I was gutted that didn't come in early. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is, and we still celebrated.
We did. To be honest, I was still young myself, so I didn't realise how important it was and how much it actually did mean, not just to myself, but to the club and to my family. So now I look back, it was one of the best days of my life, but it was very important, you know, to get that flag or cup for North Geelong.
I think it's fantastic.
Yeah,
I think it just goes to show how much acknowledgement netball has been given over the years too. We were kind of put in a quiet pocket little corner for so long when it comes to the professional side of things of it. So I think it's great that.
And when we started, it was only 13s, 15s, A, B, C. That's all we had. And like now it's under 11s, 13s, 15s, 17s, 19s, A, B, C, D, E. So the fact that it's just grown the way that it has is just, unbelievable.
It's definitely an honour. I've been at the club for so long. My husband was here, who played in under 11s as well. And to be associated with the club and to be gifted this was just amazing, absolutely amazing. And it felt, because it's an unpaid job but it's worth it. And to receive this, to be acknowledged for all the hard work that you've started, progress through to all the grades in netball, just amazing.
And mine, like Donna said, it's an honour. I've been here about 35 years now. Get out of here. And I got my life membership with Donna and my 2 daughters. So that was a thrill.
Yeah.
I get emotional, sorry. Yeah, but that was just a thrill.
I think that day when I come, I was just, the club put on such a good day, Fagsy, the amount of work that went behind it. I was just glad to be here, a part of it, was not expecting to get in it. Kelly and Donna, like to coach juniors for 20 years, you expected them to get in, and honestly I just thought it would stop there. And then Sylv, Loz and myself got called, and I was honestly just like blown away with tears, thinking I'm not in the same league as them, like how did we get here?
I'm with the young ones of the club.
Yeah, so it was, honestly, it was so nice, and I just felt like I didn't deserve it. As a couple of years have gone on, it's sort of, you look back and you think, well, yeah, no wonder I'm there. It's not a checklist, but we help out because we want to help out. I think when we get new netball courts, we should name them after Kelly Parker. So she is the legend, the GOAT of our sport, and yeah, she deserves legend status.
Yeah, I'm the same as well. It was a big moment, and I didn't expect it, that I'd get in the Hall of Fame. Kelly and Donna, yes, but still I felt like I was the younger one of the club, and yeah, I felt like I'll be nowhere near that level yet, I guess. It was a very special moment.
Great club, a great place to be involved, steeped in history. The old man played for the club, my two brothers played for the club, grand in premierships. As juniors, we were super successful, by the way. We had a three-peat head our way. We kept the cup after that, and that was a Premier Championship, whilst they had a very good captain at the time too. Had a gunful forward in Pete Harrington, Kevy Harrington, the whole Harrington clan were involved. Melva at the coffee shop. Just what a bunch of people, what a great place to grow up. I couldn't have asked for more as a club developing me as a junior.
Very long to the goal square. Oh, a lovely mark.
To Morgan, over to Hughes, here he comes, a little rover. Oh man, look, he crashed his way through, now he's got it again. Oh boy, he hooks it back, don't tell me he's going to score a goal. That is the goal of the year.
Goose Barclay as my under-13 coach. Grant Moore even back in the day. Birchie, for God's sake, he was an assistant coach in the 13s. But then Kevy Harrington into the senior coaches, all gave me some pearls of wisdom. Kevin Hayden, I'm not too sure. Brian Mewa, I don't even know I'm mentioning him, but I am. But all those guys, Ronnie Willis, you prattle them off. Penny Hardiman, great teammate and great to play senior football with. As a runt, he was playing centre-half back against some of the finest big men of the competition. I think we hold the record at the Magpies for the greatest, heaviest defeat to North Shore, I think it was. World record, that is. It's a world record, people. Don't forget that. You don't have to be a winner to have a world record. You can be on the other end of the stick. Look, I just want to thank the club for everything that they have done for me. My personal development, particularly in those last 2 years that I helped out. Personal development, I learnt humility like you wouldn't believe. But, to the guys that stuck with it and came through last year, couldn't be more proud. Watched the game. It was just something that I was hoping was on the cards. Hab, Paul Cotter, you're the drivers of it. Vander, I better mention you because you are the reigning premiership president, so congratulations. I do enjoy the Maggies, so thanks for having me on.
I think all along my journey through the juniors, I was always playing against older kids, which really did actually help me a few years down the track. So yeah, played a few years there in the under 13s, and then went up to the under 15s as I think I was a 12-year-old then. So it was good experience having these older, they were obviously a lot bigger than me as well. Around, they make me feel safe against teams like Corio and things like that. But a really, really great memory of mine is I was in the under 15s. I was 14, and I was lucky enough to get a call up to the under 18 team, who where both my cousins, Rob and Dave Tarjani, played, and that was a really, really big thrill for me. So I got called up into the final series, and actually ended up playing in my only ever premiership win that year. And needless to say, the celebrations afterwards I was not used to. So that was also a baptism of fire. But yeah, some great memories coming through those ranks and like looking up to, not only my cousins but players like Mark Walsh and Danny McCall, and ended up being friends, afterwards as well. And that's, I think, the beauty of it was, whilst I was lucky enough to go on and play at a higher level, you could always come back and have mates from those memories shared. It's unbelievable. There's not many around that have achieved that. So, and to go through, I guess, as a very much a club that's built off its people and volunteers and things like that. Not only in the last 30 years, but that whole time, to see it actually survive and thrive now is it's a remarkable achievement. And certainly I'm proud to say that's where I'm from, and that's where my junior footy started. And there wouldn't be many clubs around the country that have have this, and then also have the quality of people. All clubs have great people around, but I've been lucky enough to meet so many amazing people throughout my junior journey. But then again, feel so welcomed when I come back.
I played here in the 50s after I started going with Hank's sister, and I played mainly most everything in the Woolworth Cup. But they had great teams then. They won 5 premierships in a row in the same era that the Evelyn Hurst won 7 in a row.
You come over from West, didn't you?
Yeah, and we had some fun nights here in these old club rooms here. We used to get Norm Barco and Vin Kelly. And they'd have people in. This was the entertainment place of North Geelong.
Now they moved into these rooms in 1963. Before that, the rooms was right behind the goals was an old house.
We used to have a fire going in the fireplace on a cold day, and you couldn't get near the fire. And we had them for quite a lot of years. We had a big pendant up in the middle of the room, and the seats were around like this, and we used to paint the rooms every now and then, and we had our premiership pennants across the roof.
And their showers and that over there. You had to finish your shower, and they put the trestle down and put your coolers and that in there. That was your bar for the night, and it was a good family day then too.
We used to have lots of dances and lots of everything. There was always entertainment here. After the game there'd be somebody would be singing, or there'd be a few characters of, be telling jokes and doing things like that. But just, they had benches around the seats, and the kids used to sleep underneath the seats, while the parents sort of finished cleaning up or do the dancings and whatever else.
This was the entertainment place of North Geelong in those days, in the 50s. Everyone come here at the dances in it, didn't they, Ron?
Well, the wharfies used to come over here from their works to have a drink on a Sunday morning, when we'd have all the players here, of course. And they used to stop here for lunch. They used to come over for lunch, they reckon, but they come over for a beer.
1949, they won their first premiership. I only just lived down the road down in Walker Street, and I heard the drums banging, and boom, 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 and I thought, what the hell's going on here? So I raced from Walker Street up to here, and they had the coffin on the stretcher, and they got the big bass drum, and they're marching up and down every street.
Have a seagull or something in the box, walk down the street, right down to Victoria Street, around the block, and come back, and then there was a burial and stuff there. And
with those processions after a grand final, they were just amazing, and the burials, and I remember them, and as a little probably 5-year-old, I was gobsmacked at them, digging and there would be a proper coffin going to the grave.
Now that went on for every year that I lived in Walker Street, and I used to follow North Geelong every single game, go with them, favourite player won the war, Clive War. I just admired him as a player, and I used to be, Saturday nights when they had their dances and all that, I'd come up here and I'd sit outside on a seat out there, and they'd come out and they'd be hunting me home. But I just go away and then come back because I just wanted to be with North Geelong.
Those days when they wore woolen jumpers, and I was given the job every week of taking the woolen jumpers home and washing and drying them. And they didn't have the footballs like they do now, abundance of them. They only ever had 1 or 2 for the game. And we had an open fire at our place, so I used to have to take the footballs home and dry the footballs in front of the open fire.
Wonder War was probably one of the best talents that we had, but he stayed in local football. And when I was living in Melbourne, if I'd say something, I'd meet somebody from Geelong and you'd say something about North Geelong, they'd always mention Clive War's name, and they'd say he was the backbone of this club.
He was big time, big name.
Yeah.
Not specifically a hero, but
a bit of a naughty boy. But no, he was by the other clubs quite respected,
When I went down to the shower, I'm going away there, we had cold showers, and next minute my leg got hot. And it was one to stand beside me and piss all over my leg. And then another one, he came in and we'd won the premiership, and he handed me a glass of beer under the shower. The shower's pouring down and I'm trying to drink a beer. He was a terror.
But all the players, all the deans and that.
All the deans were all good footballers. There was about 5 of them. And they all played in the Hurst. And I used to wait for the blokes that worked late. We never had any lights on the ground. We used to wait till the moon came out, and we'd have the footballs painted white. And I used to kick with them, a few blokes, about half a dozen or so. And it was
no lights, sort of, or just a few cars around. So put their lights on.
In 1967, we were paying £7, which is $14, for our coach Alfie Thurston, and then we got Gary Headley to come in 1968, and we went from paying that to $30, and everyone said we'd go broke. We didn't, but we were lucky enough to win a premiership in his first year. That was 68. 69 we won the premiership there too. And that was probably one of the best grand finals that's ever been played in Geelong, and that was between North and North Shore.
As a club, I still hold them as the highest thing, or highest team, not thing, team that on record in local football that's ever been on. And you win premiership, championship, premiership, 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 premiership. And to this day, North Geelong is my home, North Shore's my football team. And it'll always stay that way because I had that much admiration for North Geelong.
Started in '73, through the juniors. Lucky enough to win a premiership in '78 with the under-17s. Actually played '77, played a first senior game. Clive War, Wonder War was coach. And then just continued on till '86. I left the club for 4 years, and back in '90 under Heinz's tutelage, and played on till 2002, and actually took over from Heinz's coach in '94 for 2 years, and then coached again non-playing. I was playing coach then, and then non-playing coach for another 3 years in 2004, 5 and 6. And yeah, lucky enough to have a bit of success along the way, especially with Dennis. Was lucky enough to play in three premierships and captained a couple of them, and had a pretty close relationship with Dennis right through that time.
For a side that had a few loose cannons, he was very good out there controlling them. And as for footballer, well, there's none better than him that's played in the year I played. He was excellent. Played in the 90 premiership, which was, you know, everyone's seen how physical that game was. And to show you how good he was, he got BOGs in the grand final, and that's the biggest test of a player, I reckon, who can play well in finals. 1990, we said, we're going to stand up, we're going to be men. We played Anarchy in the grand final, and Anarchy being one side that had sort of had it over us physically. Before the game, you know, we sat there, we talked about it, you know, we knew there was going to be something on, so we prepared ourselves. Decent old ball, you know, for our side, the courage they showed just to concentrate on football and, you know, take the knocks and that, and it was tremendous.
Yeah, well, 92, 93, we went in both of them years as underdogs. Played Corio on both of them, and yeah, they were pretty much odds-on favourites in both of them. And as Heinzie said, it was pretty physical early. I think the 92, the game didn't get underway for about 10 minutes. There was a bit of niggle going on. But yeah, as I said, we won them both.
Which is hard to do in that era because the sides were good and it was tough footy. It was really tough footy. It was enjoyable footy. You have a beer with the opposition after the game, but they wanted to belt shit out of you on the ground.
A lot of it goes to Heinzie. The way he coached us was probably well before his time. We did a lot of competitive work, probably most Tuesday nights, and we all hated it. You know, man up with someone and do this competitive work. But it certainly toughened us up for come finals time.
Frank Foppiani really put what success takes. He was probably the first one. Like, this was always a club that really enjoyed its social side, and he was probably the first one that put it in your head that when you're winning, social's even better.
I did promise Hab it would take me 2 years to win a flag. We had a bit of a joke about it, and fortunately, in our way, lucky enough being at North Geelong, and it fell over, and then we actually got there, and this bloke to my left and several other great players from the club, which, you know, a lot of the junior boys were fortunate enough to win the 2013 flag.
Obviously, we had the best local footballer that's probably ever been in Geelong coming to our club, so it was definitely a bit of a wake-up call for a lot of people, but exactly what we needed at the time. I think we played finals in 2010 with Frank. That was in his second year. Didn't make finals in 11, and then Doggy come in on some of the foundations that Frank had obviously set. Probably a lot more harder and a lot more
direct.
Yeah. Well, Frank was direct, but Doggy just didn't take no for an answer. Like, this is what we're doing, and if you don't like it, then on your way. So, but yeah, some of they are the hardest sessions that I've ever been a part of in my life during football. But obviously, all very well worth it come grand final day in 2013. So,
you know, the first year I was here, we actually trained every Monday, Wednesday, Friday for the whole year. So it was different because I was trying to be different. I had different theories and philosophies on my football. And then to the credit to the club and the players, they approached me from the great man, Derek Fitzsimmons, who I think is one of the greatest players I've coached. He was at this club and just an amazing bloke. And he said, "Dog, we need to have a chat." And when Derek Fitzsimmons has a chat with you, you've got to sit there and listen to him. And we went back to Tuesday, Thursdays. And obviously a few of the players would have had that discussion. And then obviously the flag comes in 2013 and it was player driven. The whole lot was player driven. We were very fortunate we had all I got all the mum and dads in the warm up, and they all walked up and said something special to each player, and that was their own personal thing, and they wrote on their wrist. And then I had the great Darren Matho standing in front of me crying, and I knew at that point we'd won the flag. I knew straight away before I ran it, no one's going to beat us, because Matho had great respect inside this club from the players and around Football Geelong, and Matho was crying. I thought, they can't beat us today.
The culmination and work trying to get to it, I mean, there was probably a few years there where the thoughts do cross your mind, you're never going to get that feeling and get to that, to finally get there. I think I was 32, so it'd been a long time trying to, hoping it was going to happen, and then when it eventually did, that's the highlight of my career. When Doggy Ryan come in, he had one goal, and that was to get us to where we got to, and there was nothing that he didn't try, and nothing that was ever out of his comfort zone to get us to where we got to. And
I'd heard rumours that I was going to be inducted, and I was pretty nervous about the whole scenario because it was such a big day and thing for the club, and to be inducted. And obviously people hold you in regard to put you in that situation is a massive honour. And football is all about teams, and you know, my premierships are my favourite part of being involved, but to have that little honour as an individual is something that, yeah, will be here forever.
I rate my Hall of Fame higher than my life membership, because I feel life membership is service to the club, where the Hall of Fame almost rewards my field efforts more so than my time here. For a club that's 150 years old, like I said before, like I feel a big part of that history is honouring. And yeah, it really is special.
Oh, Dick he was a great leader, good for the club. He gave the club a high profile. But we were lucky though. We had a pretty good team. We had a good sides, and the club was running quite well. He could eat, a big guy, remember? He could eat. Well, after the game, Jones, he was funny. But he was a really funny man, as I say.
Quite interesting how he came to be at North Geelong, because he always told the story about Collingwood were playing Geelong at Cardinia Park, and Geelong was stitching up Collingwood at that stage, and he was disappointed in Collingwood's. And I think he'd only just moved to Geelong at that stage, and he walked out and he said to someone, "Oh, I can't watch this rubbish anymore. Is there any clubs around here that wear black and white?" And the guy said, there is one, but you wouldn't want to go out there. He said, "It's North Geelong." And he said, "That'll do me," he said. So he said, "They're working man's club." And so he arrived out here and watched North Geelong play that day. And I still remember the time when the club was in real trouble, was nearly going to fold. And we came to a meeting here one night, and Clive Waugh, Wonder Waugh, he stood in as president, and then Dick came along and followed him. I think he came up with the Fabulous Magpies, actually. So,
yeah, I think it was.
So he was really good at promoting the club, and North Geelong had a lot to owe Dick Philpott for the recognition that the club gets in the Geelong region.
I would have watched my first game 1957 when I was a baby in Mum's arms. The family's been here since 1923. I come to the club in 1969, our state school in North Geelong, just over the road. We won a Lightning Premiership, and the Premiership there, the president, late Jimmy Orthorpe, put on a pie night for us because we won the big Lightning Premiership, and we started up an under-13 team. Ron Willis was my coach, the late Ron Willis, and so we all come over here in 1969. I've been here every year since. We had some very tough times. We nearly folded in 1982 and then again in 1986, and we luckily my dear friend Steve Drakovic took over coach in '86. He passed away earlier this year, unfortunately, and yeah, we stuck together. I call our era in the 70s and early 80s the glue era, because we stuck together, because otherwise the club would have been gone. There is no two doubt about it. I remember the 100th year I played in the game, it was against Barwon, and I never thought in the 80s, after that 1976, I never thought that we would ever make 150 years. Not a hope. I honestly thought myself, when I'm an old man, as I am, I would never be watching the team play. And I really don't. It's a credit to the club, but the people who are at the club, we're a working man's club. That's the difference. We're not full of lawyers and doctors and, you know what I mean, accountants and that. We're just old, workers, battlers. When your back's up against the wall, that's it. You come back at him.
Yeah, no, I come to the club because my father played most of his football career here. So yeah, I played in under 13 football there and played every grade right through until I retired when I was 35 years old. Yeah, I kicked a couple of 11 goals there. So yeah, the season was, we got dropped back to second division, which we did end up in the bottom of the ladder year before. We did protest about it a little bit, but yeah, we ended up in the bottom, so that was it. So we got relegated back into second division, and we had a few players come back to the club that year to help us out again. And we also, I thought we had a pretty good side the year before, but we obviously weren't good enough. And then yeah, then a few players come back to the club. We got a couple come over from North Shore, a couple of the old blokes, and yeah, we've just very well put together the side and coached well by Heinzie.
I didn't love the idea of coming to North Geelong because they wore Collingwood colours, so I thought, oh, I don't know about this, so anyway, came down and I've been here ever since. So luckily they got me here and yeah, I stayed. Your Keith Barclays and all of that were always people that were always made you feel welcome. I was a pretty quiet kid, but you just got out there in the ground, and I think whoever was playing there at the time made you feel like you were part of the club. Obviously 88 was the first one as a championship, that was good. Then there was a long break where we were playing in finals year after year, and I think it was like, had that one and then played in 3 losing grand finals before we got another one to balance it up, and ended up with I think 4 winning grand finals, all the 2s, but the 3 losses, so at least I got the balance right. Grand finals are great, but just spending time with the boys after it for the Sunday and Monday and just sort of enjoying a few beers and that, it's just a great feeling. And North Geelong around that time was very successful, so we tended to do it every year. For me, actually naming the ground after a great bloke like Keith Barclay was an honour to sort of get through and get it officially done in the right way.
Kevin Harrington coached 1 year, and like I said, I'd never played a lot of junior football, and he sort of took me under his wing and he sort of taught me how to kick a bit better than I used to be able to kick. He'd sort of explained stuff to me, football stuff, where a lot of other coaches didn't. They sort of just get on the track and train and whatnot. He sort of took me under his wing and he showed me how to drop a ball and just stick it on your arm and run, mate. You got the speed, just put it on your arm and run. And I was very lucky because I didn't get injured much. They call me the rubber man, me mates, because I'd never get injured, which is funny to me, but when you run straight lines, you don't get injured. It's when you do your balking players and stuff like that, that's when you get hurt. I was never that sort of player. I was just straight to the ball type of player. Nowadays football, I don't think it will get broken, but I hope it does get broken. But yeah, that is my 15 minutes of fame, and that's my legacy pretty much. My name's on the glass on the board, which is really special for me, and because I'm not a great footballer, but I love that I'm the club record holder at this club. Getting closer to games record or giving me getting me out. You can't have a Spaniard as the best, most goal games played at a club, at a football club. Get real, But nah, they were doing it in jest. It was all in love, and I'm really proud of that.
I'm probably the most spoilt parent in North's history. To have the enjoyment of watch your kids win some premiership success, you know, I bawled my eyes out watching my kids. I don't think I cried when I played in senior premiership myself, but to watch my kids get the ultimate reward is the most pleasurable thing. Bar them being born, watching them have the ultimate thing in sport, it's pretty crazy.
So we come in, when we come in, I had a chat to the group that were here, and I said, you know, some of you got to hit the pavement and some of you got to hit the gym. And you know, if that little man in your head saying, right now, that's me, or, you know, it's you. So they took it on board, and, you know, they come back when we started pre-season pretty fit. And then we started getting the ball rolling, and we started putting structures in place and game plans and stuff like that. And in 2 years, you know, we were lucky enough to win the flag.
I think for me, the thing that sticks out, like a lot of my mates have won grand finals and stuff like that, and they keep telling you there's an intangible that it's different. Like you can't explain it, it's just different. And I think after we won, and obviously the celebrations, and then we come back together, maybe a week or two later to get the photo, there was just a vibe that it was different. Like we're bonded for life now. Like we've all put in and got something and worked hard. Now we've got something to show for it that's going to bond us together for the rest of your life. And I'm sure everyone else that's been in these videos that have had success, they've lived it for the last how many years they've done it, and they're all bonded by that. And I think footy clubs are good for that. Like they're your mates for life at footy clubs, but there's just little intangibles and success along the way that you're just bonded now. So for us to come in after 2 years and create a bond and a memory that's going to last forever is awesome.
When I look back on it now, like, so in our 150 years, we've won 19 senior flags. To knowing that we've got a little bit of history and no one can take it away from us, that means a lot to me. Like, for coming here, you know, you can coach, you know, I've coached North Shore, Bannockburn, Bell Park, and I've come here with probably a blank canvas, and you know, in 2 years we've won a flag. And to be part of this history now, it's like, it's going to take, when we finish up, or when I finish up, you know, I'll look back on it and think, wow, that's bloody amazing what we've done in that short period of time.
I don't remember the Saturday night, the Sunday, and it wasn't because we were drunk, but it was more of, I think I could let go a little bit, that we'd done it, we'd climbed that mountain with this wonderful group of people. As I said, and when I say the people, it's not just the playing group of netball football, it's the committee people, it's the volunteers. You know, Nan from the canteen, for instance, she made sure after each game that any leftover food from the canteen went to players, both netball, football, to try and help them look after them. So those little things, you know, they culminate to a grand final where you go, everyone deserves to be a part of this.
Yeah, 150 years is huge. Obviously, winning that premiership last year, we'll have that little scratch or little dent in the armour, should I say, and we just want to keep building to that. Like our team can do anything in the next 5 years if we all stick together. It's pretty exciting to see where we're at. Like, we can create our own history and be part of this massive history.
Yeah, it's a huge honour to be able to pull on the black and white jumper. Like, 150 years, it speaks for itself. There's been obviously a lot of legends come through, and just to have our tiny little bit of a footprint in that history, it means everything. Like, I've been at this club since diapers, couldn't see myself being anywhere else, and best thing is now I've got two young ones myself, and they're running around on a Saturday loving the club that I grew up loving.
We obviously know how big of the history in this club is and how much it would mean to so many of the supporters that were watching, but not just them, like us, from going through what we went through the past 3 or 4 years was pretty tough, like struggle to get a side together and whatnot, and to turn it around just like that it's pretty special. More special for the supporters, I reckon, than us, which means a lot to us players.